Coming up, Albert Einstein takes a turn in the kitchen and comes up with a brilliant new appliance to save lives. Today, the biggest challenge when buying a fridge is in the details. 2 doors or 1, white or stainless. A lot easier than in the 1920s, when buying a fridge could literally cost you your life. A deadly problem that inspired the humanitarian side of the century's greatest scientist. Berlin, 1925. Albert Einstein, the Albert Einstein, solver of secrets of the universe, is about to turn hands-on inventor over his morning glass of milk.
Einstein was a very quiet person. He spoke with a slightly squeaky voice, and he was self-effacing and a bit modest.
The rest of the world sees Einstein as the rock star of scientists. He's already won the Nobel Prize in physics, and then he turns the science world on its head with his theory of general relativity. But this morning, he's not thinking about relativity or quantum physics or even breakfast. He's captivated by a horrifying story in the morning paper about a fridge. A fridge that's killed an entire family overnight.
The refrigerator leaked ammonia into the apartment, which is toxic and which eventually filled the rooms and killed the family.
The household refrigerator is a recent invention that's got a deadly problem. It uses toxic gases, like ammonia, as coolants to absorb heat from the food chamber. Einstein's thoughts come swooping down to earth, from theories of the universe to building a safer fridge, and he knows just the guy to help him. He calls in his friend Leo Szilard, a Hungarian student physicist.
Both of them were humanitarians, both of them were pacifists, and both of them responded on a personal level when they read that a family had been destroyed by a faulty refrigerator.
Szilard himself will later create nothing less than nuclear fission. But right now, Leo and Albert are fixated on a fridge. They observe that the fridge has several mechanical moving parts required to circulate the liquid coolant. One of these parts is a compressor pump. It rattles constantly, and that creates wear and tear on the surrounding valves and seals. They realize that it's the mechanical moving parts that allow the toxic coolant to leak and turn the fridge into a ticking time bomb. But how can they move the liquid coolant through the fridge without mechanical parts? As physicists, they're both familiar with a powerful invisible force called electromagnetic energy. Einstein thinks they can harness that energy and use it to push the coolant through the fridge's coils. They'll need an additional component, a liquid metal that is a strong conductor of electricity. Szilard suggests a sodium-potassium alloy. The idea is to send an electrical current through the liquid metal. The resulting magnetic field will turn the liquid metal into a kind of piston that pushes the coolant through the refrigerator's coils. Early in the experimenting, they run into a snag. The sodium-potassium alloy is too acidic, and it corrodes the wires that they've inserted into the tube to create a current.
So they needed another method.
That's when another light bulb goes on in Einstein's big brain. Why not scrap the electrical wires inside the tube and replace them with electromagnets in the form of coils around the outside?
Imagine yourself taking a string of sausage and squeezing the sausage as it goes around. The magnets were in effect doing the same thing.
By sending electricity through the electromagnets, he will create magnetic fields that penetrate the tube. The magnetic forces will push the liquid metal through the tube, forcing the fridge coolant to keep moving as well. What Einstein has come up with is the world's first electromagnetic pump. A pump with no moving parts. Within a few months, they have a prototype ready to test. When they turn it on, it works. The milk's cold, and they've made the kitchen a safer place. But it does have a significant downside.
It started making louder and louder sounds. Somebody who was there said it howled like a banshee.
That doesn't faze the two theoretical physicists, but to lesser mortals, the howling fridge is a tough sell. What makes it even harder to sell? In 1929, scientists discover Freon, a non-toxic coolant that eliminates the reason for the Einstein fridge. But the domestic invention conceived by the world's great brains ends up with an even more important role in nuclear power plants, cooling the reactors. It's the kind of ending you might expect when two of the 20th century's greatest minds sit down to build a better fridge.